Welcome back for game two. Okay, so we've got some good spells. However, I'm going to wait on those because, you get to cast the spells for free if you have a leveled up Master of Elements, so you want the spells to be lower level than your Master. Okay, Windcaller Shaman, 1317 is okay. It's probably slightly better than the Water Walker, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. Oh, we're against Pyrrhus. Perhaps Pyrrhus will defeat us at great cost to himself, attaining a Pyrrhic victory. Okay, definitely playing Master of Elements. It's definitely good in this deck. Contagion Surge would cause that trade to be in my favor. That is tempting. However, Mystic or Banshee is still probably better. Okay. Especially if my opponent's going to go and play, good cards. Alright, so, this is as good a place as any for Banshee. So I'll go ahead and play it. And, Master and Commander is fine. We don't care about the middle lane, so we're going to spread out our creatures so that, they cannot as easily be covered by the creature that sets a seedling next to it. Sorry, again, it's late. It's been a long work day, and my mind is blanking on card names more than I should. Okay. Felwalker works best with Deathweaver. Necroslime is the best creature. So, we'll see. I'm definitely playing Deathweaver. We'll see what else. Call of the Week doesn't look good against this deck so far, but it's early. Okay, Bright Tuskar, sorry, is the creature that I was thinking about. Could Cull it. Cull is less good when my opponent is creating multiple bodies and such, but... I feel like Felwalker is just going to be better in this deck than Necroslime. So I think that's what I'm going to play here. Going to go ahead and play it Cross from Sower, so it'll die next turn while Deathweaver can give it its trigger. Alright, I want to play every card in this hand. I feel like I'm going to force myself to play Master. I'll likely also play Deathweaver, but we'll see. Really, those are the cards that I most want to have leveled up. Although all of these creatures level well. Deathseeker levels the least well, but it has the most synergy with the rest of what's going on. It would be very tempting to Deathweaver and Seeker. It would become a 9/9 after trading with a Seedling. However, again, probably best off just playing what's best. That's not ideal. Nor is that. Okay, so the Master and the Deathweaver neither can trade with the Titan, so I'm going to hold off for something better for there. I could play Bruiser to buff the Deathweaver to stay alive, but I think for the moment I'm willing to just focus on getting my Masters leveled up. They do feel good in this deck, so I think I want to see just how good. Okay, Banshee can trade fine with, can eat the Titan fairly well. Deathweaver would do fine as well, but I'd rather keep damage off it if I can help it. Man, my opponent's got the other side of this coin. The Uter and Necrium make lots of things and use them, whereas we've got to make lots of things and boost them. I'm hoping that my opponent does not have a Deathweaver, but we'll see. Ouch, that roar is harsh. So this will be -4, -4. So Banshee still eats this. I think I will go ahead and throw Deathweaver in front of the Matriarch, just because it'll eat it, though it takes some damage in doing so. Necrotic Worm levels up best. This is, you know, since it's not player 1, that matters less because we'll have to get to level 3 with it. However, it feels like this game might go long. The question is, are the Matriarchs and such enough better of creatures than we have that we'll have a hard time holding them off? One problem is our deck is super removal heavy, and removal is particularly bad against things that make multiple bodies like Matriarch. So, okay, so my opponent does have Deathweaver. That's unfortunate. Okay, getting value off the tracker. Alright, my opponent's playing very well. At least my opponent's a level behind on the Deathweavers. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and just play both like I discussed. Unfortunately, that leaves our board pretty much empty after the trades that are happening. We have our Deathweaver, which at least my opponent will have to play something for. This deck is kind of the best possible deck for Runescarred Zombie. Part of the problem is to make it as ideal as possible, we need to play Master of Elements at level 1 and Deathweaver, which means it's hard for the Runescarred Zombie to get leveled to where it needs to be. It does still get a lot of value in this deck, so we'll see. Okay, so that's one creature. We can definitely throw the Master in front of the Sower. Means that we'll probably get killed off by a Seedling again or something, but that's not the worst. Question is this better than Reaver? 8-5. I think in our deck it is. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the game plan, as edge case as it seems. Bruiser and Glutton are my best creatures. Fellwalker and Deathseeker are better for setting up against drawing my Deathweavers. I'm not sure, but it might be worth it. Opponent goes down to the Hunting Pack and seems to be failing. Okay, so Fellwalker we can level up. It's fine on this board. Bruiser is sadly not enough to save the Master from the Hunting Pack. I'm going to go ahead and just get Glutton out there. I think it's very good to have leveled. The only downside of Glutton against my opponent's deck is that it can get picked off by level 2 Seedlings and such, so maybe that was wrong. I just feel like we don't have as many creatures to buff with the Bruiser, so I was thinking of that Glutton's ability might be more useful, but it might have been just worth it for the toughness. We'll see. Okay, Worm I'd like to level up because it's maybe the best stats on a level 3 creature we've got in our deck, but this hand is not spectacular. Fellwalker is fine, but not amazing. We'll see what happens. Okay. That's not the worst. My opponent sacrificed an actual creature for it. Okay, let's get this combat over. Alright, so Fellwalker trades fine with that. Necrotic Ward trades fine with that. So again, we stay stable. We're not gaining much ground, but we're at least being stable. Is Rimscarred Zombie actually better in this deck than the Deathseeker? Certainly more interesting. It does feel like it's as good as in this deck as it can be, so I'm going to probably favor playing it where I can help it. If my opponent buffs the Corpse Crawler, that will be obnoxious, but we'll manage. One thing that I am happy about is we have not seen a Weirwood Patriarch. If the decks that are scarce are the ones that have both Mom and Dad. If the Uteran deck is all about life and food and plenty, and the Necrium side is all about death and corpses and all that, does that make this a Tornacorpsia deck? That's really bad. These are the bad jokes you get from me. This deck definitely is slow, and it seems to be okay at stabilizing so that the game goes slowly in general. Okay, that was unfortunate, just because the Corpse Crawler, but it certainly could have been worse. If we had a good spell to play with the zombie, that would be a nice play. Ouch. Okay, this is a whole new plan. The plan is now play things that keep us alive. Deathseeker takes up the most time over here. And I think it's in my best interest to get Necroslime level up. So Corpse Crawler level 3 is a pain. Although at least it has negative effect on the board to get it there. Or, to get it into the line. Okay, Double Death Weaver is good. Probably worth playing. Definitely wish I had it for that Deathseeker's death, but it's alright. Alright, that Bone Reaver did a good job of letting my opponent get through my creature faster. I don't really want to take 40 damage. So the question is, do I double shoot the creature just so it dies? Okay. Yeah, I think I need to kill it. Rather than play my level 3 creature, of course I want to play level 2. I think I'll go ahead and actually play the Glutton, because it is sufficient to kill it with the Lightning Spark, which I will also work on leveling. Plus it gives the death trigger to deal some damage to the opponent. Not a ton, but it gets up there. Level 2 does around 5, level 3 does around 10. Right, Banshee is good. Banshee would be better if Windcolor Shaman were the same level, so it could pull it in front of another creature as well. But that's fine. Banshee will do some hurting against whatever scariest here, which is probably going to be the Matriarch. No. So this will be -7. So it can trade with whatever. Okay, so that'll be... Yeah, I'm going to just shrink down the creature with the biggest power and then play something durable in front of the other so that hopefully I can deal with it later. Alright, the Glutton will do okay against it. It won't quite trade. Actually, no, the Death Weaver seems fine. It will trade with the Seedling that comes out at least. But at least it won't die. The Glutton does look good in front of the Titan. Is it worth just throwing... Yeah, I think it's worth just throwing the Death Weaver in front of the Matriarch right now, just so that the Matriarch will die on my turn. Because it's going to die whether or not it takes that 5 damage. And the Titan is the thing most worth worrying about, and it's good to get the Glutton on the board. The Glutton will, of course, trade positively, so that's nice. Okay. Banshee and Necrotic Worm are good. I got excited at first when I saw Master of Elements, but this definitely isn't a Master kind of hand. Although it's nice getting Master leveled up. If I have to throw a Master in front of something like a big Corpse Crawler, I can. I'm, again, more likely to just shrink it with Banshee, though. Okay, probably going to throw the level 2 thing in front of Glenn. Yep. If I had a good way to affect that, it would be nice. As it stands, I can best shrink the tracker. And I'll play Necrotic Worm in front of something that will die on this turn, so that'll be nice. Take 10 damage-ish? 7. Could be better, but that's fine. Alright, Necro Slime is nice. It gets what, +8/+8 from every trigger I give it? Yeah. That's getting pretty serious. And the 3 damage is getting less and less important, so this is nice. And we've got a level 2 Lightning Spark that could theoretically affect some trades. One actual downside of all of these cards that we're playing is most of them want to be leveled up. Like Grave Pact is good with a lot of the other cards, but only if it's leveled up. So it's not as good as you feel like it's supposed to be. Right. Thankfully that Hunting Pack seems to have missed again. Okay, so we can use our Spark to finish off the Corpse Crawler on our turn. That seems fun. And the Necro Slime... Okay, so we're going to get in 12 damage. That's nice. Necro Slime eats Ravager. Spark finishes off Crawler. Okay, Fellwalker's fine. None of the rest of this is great. I may actually play the Charger just because it's late enough in the game that I'm caring less about things leveling and more about what can just have the best effect. Things are going slowly enough that maybe I should care, but we'll see. Glutton's also in the discussion just because that 2 or 3 damage is okay. I figure if I play one of these creatures, there's a reasonable chance I'll get to play it again, get to play it again 1 level higher. So I'm trying to consider the value at its current level and 1 level higher, which Glutton and Charger seem like the 2 best here. All right, so. Fellwalker's fine in front of Hunting Pack. And the other card will just be something that dies, so I think it'll be Glutton. I may as well feed the Necro Slime since Fellwalker's going to die anyway. So my opponent is definitely going to be able to trade with the Necro Slime, but my opponent is going to have to trade with the Necro Slime, which isn't bad. Feels like this game we've mostly abandoned the spell focus of the deck and just played with the Necrium kind of... actually, all of the Necrium stuff here except for the zombie. Alright, so we pick off the worm. That's fine. It's a good creature for my opponent to have leveled, but it's not bad for us or anything. Okay, so what else will you play, my opponent? Pierce. When my opponent is called Pierce, which I believe is a guy's name, I can at least refer to my opponent using the masculine pronoun. Alright. Banshee's fine against Treefolk. Do I Spark to get some damage in and keep the zombie from getting poisoned? it's going to take that zombie a long time to die. I could also win... No, I can't win Color Shell in the zombie. I think I'm actually going to shoot the Cobra just to get the 9 damage in. It also levels up the direct damage, which could be good. Okay, Master of Elements into Static Shock, into Call the Weak, theoretically, into Graveborn Collect. There's probably not going to be anything out here that will be picked up by a level 1 call, but there's a chance that there will be a seedling of level 1 or 2, which would do it. Could also play the level 2 Master instead of the level 3 just to get it leveled, but since damage is starting to speed up, I feel like it might behoove me to not pussyfoot around and just start throwing haymakers left and right. Which this hand is okay at, not perfect, but Glutton's a reasonable impression of a bad level 3 creature, even at level 2. Okay, my opponent is taking a while, either has a lot to think about, went to get a drink, or is bemoaning how bad the hand is. Ah, looks like my opponent is bemoaning how bad the hand is. Okay, that's interesting. So, Graveborn Glutton is good enough to kill the Corpse Crawler if I throw a Static Shock trigger that way. That's nice. So, I should be able to just play the Glutton and then Static Shock, yeah. Sadly, I can't like use the ability of Static Shock to just discard Call the Weak, so that won't get leveled up. But we get in for 12 more damage. We're gonna get, 5-ish points off of Glutton, unless my no matter what, we'll get 5-ish points off of Glutton, and if my opponent spends a card to keep Corpse Crawler alive, we are perfectly happy. We've got 12 points of burn in hand and 2 good creatures on the battlefield. I guess we've got 17 points of burn in hand. So with the Glutton trigger, even the Banshee will be lethal. Okay, so that's a very... I thought that was a cost-effective way to save the Corpse Crawler, but that's fine. Alright. You have to block the Master of Elements or you die. One nice thing is my opponent doesn't know that. My opponent could get greedy and play a creature anywhere else, in which case a bolt to the face will kill my opponent. If my opponent does play for a longer game, Fellwalker will probably go in front of Huntress just to keep maintaining value. Okay. Also, we could bolt here, get in for 17, and bolt again for 22. That's still my best bet because it preserves the health of the Master, gets in for slightly more damage than a bolt to the face, and it lets me play Walker to eat up Huntress. My opponent is at 10, and I've got a lot of burn in my deck. We're looking good. My opponent could come back, but given the health disparity, things are probably safe. It's worth mentioning that despite how our decks felt relatively well matched, we have kind of stopped taking damage for a while. We've been able to hold the initiative and keep Sente such that my opponent cannot play any creatures that are not just blocking ours. So now my opponent has to block Master and we'll be at 1. I like the sound of this. Okay. So there's no way to just get an extra damage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Bruiser the Master to keep it alive here so that it's another must-answer threat. And Necrotic Worm will gladly eat the Tree Folk and then stick around to be a threat. So we're about to win no matter what. My opponent cannot possibly block every creature and not take 1 damage. I guess double Ether Hounds theoretically, but the zombie would get to attack to kill 1, so it would be lethal on its own. So yeah, there's nothing my opponent can do here. So we look like we've won game 2. Thank you guys for watching. Man, the scene in the background. It reminds me of the movie Epic, which I haven't actually seen yet. So it makes me wonder if this guy's really, really tiny, or if all these trees are so huge. Trees and caverns, or whatever all that is. I could see it either way. I want to know if that guy is tiny or not, though. He triggered off our level 5. I was going to say, he doesn't trigger off the 9, does he? No. So Master lets us play a Contagion Surge for free. That's nice. It won't matter, but it's nice. Okay, this would be good. An Ether Hound would actually keep my opponent alive this turn, which would be impressive. Again, at this point, we're not losing this game. With our opponent at 1 and our burn, we're not losing this game. Okay, so we win off the Bruiser. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with game 3 in a moment.